Yo, what is up guys? My name is Boustedt and I run the Takeover store where I sell editing presets or packs for editors. And today's gonna be like a very raw video because I wanna show you guys how I create my content in like less than 20 minutes or around like that 20-ish minute mark. And the main reason why I'm doing this is just like sort of like break that limiting belief that you have to spend forever on these short form videos. When in reality, you literally don't. All you have to do is just really optimize your workflow. So the video that we are editing today is actually gonna be a talking head style. So let's go ahead and get started in Premiere Pro right now. Okay, so now we are opening up Adobe Premiere Pro. Like I said, this is generally going to be a very raw video. So for the people that just want to know exactly how I edit my short form content, that's going to be perfect for you. Just so you can kind of see the steps that I take and how I do what I do. So let's go ahead, new project. We're going to go ahead and just type in reel because that's what we're doing today. Project location really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and start on my desktop and then we're going to go ahead and hit create. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go over here to this little window, Control I, and then import our footage. Okay, sick, so we have our footage and we have our audio. Let's go ahead and import it. Now just drag and drop it onto the timeline. Now, I filmed separately the audio with my iPhone, so let's go ahead and sync it. Just like so. Okay, so I actually know why this is. Oh, is that not filming any audio whatsoever? No, so let's go ahead and solve this problem of the audio not syncing. So first things first, let's go ahead and go to sequence and like fix this problem first actually. Sequence settings, just flip these, so 1080 by 1920. And the frame size, horizontal, vertical, etc. Hit okay. Click this, go to scale. Actually not scale, go to rotation, negative 90 degrees. It's gonna shift your image to where you want it to be. Let's go ahead and throw on the LUT. So I go to my takeover pack. You guys can slap on whatever LUTs you guys have, or you guys can just go ahead and color grade yourself. I'm just gonna go ahead and slap my LUT and make a couple adjustments. So that actually looks really good. I'm actually gonna run with that. That's pretty fire. Sick. So let's go ahead and get this syncing. Usually you just select it all and then you hit synchronize and it'll work. And if it doesn't work, then you're gonna see me figure it out. So I snap. Okay, right there, it's where like I snap. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it right here. Now I'm just gonna listen for a snap, which is already recording. Okay, so that's the first snap. I'm gonna go ahead and just make a cut right here. Oh yeah, I think we're chilling. Let me slide this back, see if the audio works. Sync, sync, sync. All right, it's synced, we're chilling. So now go ahead, select all of them, unlink the layers so that way they're separate. You can move them individually. Delete this layer, move this up, and then go ahead, right click, and then link them together. Now let's go ahead and get to cutting. Now, cutting is actually a very simple process. You guys could either watch me or you guys can go to the timestamp on screen right now to like kind of skip this one. So the way we cut is I use the C tool and I use the V tool for selection, and then I use the X tool for ripple delete. I guess this is like a really good video also too, for you to see like the BTS of like short form recording. So if you're actually like a content creator, trying to learn how to edit short form content, like you can kind of see this and be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm not the only one who like loses his mind when he's recording, you know?
During my recent trip to Chicago,
I just think I mess this up a lot.
During my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan. So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session.
A few tips, just literally drag this up so you can see what you're doing.
Strategy session. So how do you make a content strategy?
Killer, go just keep cutting.
Well, we started off with our goals. But we started with our goals. But we started with our content goals. Which for me included building a brand authority. Building a brand authority, nurturing my audience into paying customers, and connecting with my audience, and also connecting customers and connecting with my audience. So for each piece of content that I create, So for each piece of content that I create, it has to resonate with one of those goals.
Just editing, we're keeping it rolling.
And then once you define those goals, you go ahead and move to your content pillars. And your content pillars are the types of content that you like to post. For me, it's before and afters, talking heads, talking heads just like this one, we like to post. For me, it's before and afters, talking heads just like this one, talking heads with my iPhone, and then ManyChat, B-roll, and then that's it for Instagram, at B-roll, and then that's it posts, B-roll, posts. And then that's it for Instagram. Now last step is just building your content schedule. Monday through Friday. What pieces of content? Try to think of the days and how your audience behaves on those days to figure out what types of content you want to post. And this is genuinely like all relative to you and your audience. But for me, in the beginning of the week, people just really want quick wins. They want some value. And towards the end of the week is when I feel like they're most prone to buy my product. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most they want some value. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most prone to buy my product. So that's why I create salesy content towards the end. So that's why I create salesy content at the end of my week. And then that's all you need to do to build a content strategy Monday through Friday, and just execute. Keep it very simple and just execute.
Okay, cool. So now that we are done with cutting, you guys can kind of see like how fast you guys can kind of get, and you guys can honestly work faster than me too. Like, I'm not the fastest with it. This is actually like a pretty long reel, like a 1 minute. So we're gonna go ahead and we did the color grade, and let's go ahead and just get the hook on there, and then we'll kind of just do subtitles and we'll kind of call it good from there. Maybe add some things here and there, but we'll keep it very simple. So the way that I actually do my hooks is I actually open my own product.
Before we continue on with this tutorial, I just want to let you guys know that the Viral Hooks editing pack is out now. If you've ever struggled with short form content, chances are it's because of the hook. And I get it. I've literally edited close to 500 plus short form pieces of content, and only now have I decided to just automate that entire process. So what's in the pack? You get 10 hooks already made for you. So literally all you have to do is just drag and drop the template, replace the text, replace the icon, and you're good to go. It comes with 6+ text styles, which are pretty much just popular text styles that a lot of the bigger guys use. So if you want to save time editing and save yourself the time of content ideating for a hook, this is the pack for you. It genuinely saves me so much time. I genuinely used to spend 25 minutes, but now it's a 3-minute process to create hooks, meaning I can create more content in less time. And for you as an editor, that means you can create more content, less time, which means you can make more money. So go ahead and check it out. Link will be down in the description below.
So now that we actually got the project file opened up, go ahead and just import entire project. Super simple. Go to 2 for the viral hook templates, and just go ahead and double click this composition or sequence. And for this video, let's actually see what we should do. Let's check it out. That one's pretty chill, that one's pretty clean. I actually really do like that one. We could do this one. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, let's do the second one. I really like the second one. So let's go ahead and drag and drop the entire thing right here. Let's drag or just copy and paste it. And copy and paste the sound effect as well. And then Control-C, copy it, and let's go ahead and paste it. Now let's go ahead and just line it up with the end of the clip and just see how that looks for now. Select this, select all that.
Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had...
Okay, that did not sound right.
So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how...
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it right here.
The creator named Bryan, and together we had...
And just move this sound effect as well.
The creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make...
Okay, so So we gotta line this up right here, just like so.
The creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make a
fire? Sick. So now,
during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together
I'm gonna go ahead and just remove these first two texts because I'm gonna go ahead and just import subtitles later. So these subtitles don't really need to be here if it's not directly in the beginning of the video.
Creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make...
Sick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate this layer because as you can see, this says place key talking head above, like in this green area. So I'm gonna go ahead, just alt, drag up, select the text, go to effects, go to my takeover pack, and then add the keeper plugin, which if you don't have the plugin, this will not be in the preset pack. If you do have the plugin, then great, but it is a paid plugin, so make sure you pay for it to use it. So I'm just gonna do content strategy on this page. So you wanna go ahead and select the title 1, double click it, it'll send you here, and this is where you edit the text. So I'm gonna do content, do strategy, and then I kinda want it to like line up a little bit better. So maybe I'll make content, the word content a bit bigger. Font size, yeah, that lines up pretty well. And then I'll kind of bring it down so the line spacing's like a lot neater. To me, that looks pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and save it. Then we're gonna go back to our recording and then we'll kind of see what the sizing's looking like.
And together we had a content strategy session. So
I actually really like that. Looks really good.
Session. So
maybe instead of like having it like slide in,
together we had a
I kind of want it to like sit there for a little bit. So let's go ahead and just drag it over.
And together we had a content strategy set.
Fire, dude. Like I actually really like what's going on. Let's go ahead and just change the scale just like down like so you can actually see it. Control C the motion, like the scale, and then go ahead and just copy it on the glow layer as well. So that's pretty much the hook right there.
So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you...
And technically this could be like a lot better, but I'm not really hating it too much. So now let's go ahead and move on to adding transition overlays before we move to our text. So transition overlays, you guys wanna go ahead and find them on YouTube or paid websites that sell them. For me, I actually bought Creative Ryan's film burn pack. So if you guys wanna go ahead and check that out, I'm not affiliated at all. I just really believe in his product. Like it's really good, really simple. Like this is probably one of my favorite wipes. So yeah, let's go ahead, add the transition at this little like point where the sound effect goes crazy. Kind of just make like for like a dope little transition. And the way you really edit them is you just go ahead, go to lighten, screen, or you can do overlay or difference, whatever you want to do. I like to do screen, very simple. Change the scale to 50 because it's a 4K file. And it's already vertical, so we're good.
Session. So how do you...
So fire, that looks pretty good. Dope. Let's go ahead and just move on and continue adding transitions where I see fit.
Make a content strategy. We started with our content goals.
If you hit L, it'll like do double time speed so that we don't have to like sit there forever.
Content strategy. We started with our content goals, which for me included building a brand authority, nurturing my audience.
So
content goals.
Right there, I think is a great spot for a transition.
Content goals, which for me included building a brand authority, nurturing my audience into paying customers, and connecting with my audience. So for each piece of content that I create,
I like this. So
audience.
So pretty much like where there's like a different sort of like train of thought starting, that's where I throw a transition.
Each piece of content that I create has to resonate with one of those goals. And once you define those goals, you go ahead and move to your content pillars. And your content pillars are the types of content that you like to post. For me, it's before and afters content that you like to post.
Oh.
So are the
Sick.
Pillars. And your content pillars are the types of content that you like to post. For me, it's before and after, talking heads just like this one, talking heads with my iPhone, and then ManyChat, B-roll posts. And then that's it for Instagram. Now last step is just building it.
Fire. There's a little duplicate right there, so I'll delete it.
Instagram. Now, last step is just building your content schedule. Monday through Friday, try to think of the days and how your audience behaves on those days. Figure out what types of content you want to post. And this is genuinely like all relative to you and your audience. But for me, in the beginning of the week, people just really want quick wins, they want some value. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most prone to buy my product. So that's why I create salesy content. To buy my product. So product. So that's why I create salesy content at the end of my week. And then that's all you need to do to build it. All right, fire, so that's the outro. So the last thing that I like to do to like make like a perfect loop with the transition overlay is I cut the overlay in half, drag this out, drag the first half on the end, copy paste the last part of the transition and drag it to the beginning and copy and paste it. So that way it kind of creates like a seamless loop, just like so. Keep it very simple, just execute. So seamless loop. Seamless loop. So now that we finished our transition overlays, let's go ahead and add some like images or like icons, whatever, to the video, just to kind of like spice it up just a bit. So in the intro, I say like Bryan Delamata. So let's just go ahead and like include his profile photo so people know exactly who we're talking about. So now that we got his photo downloaded, let's go ahead and go to downloads, click it, import into the timeline. For me, I actually want to make this like a rounded corners, like kind of like square, I guess. So around the corners in my preset pack, I already have that. So that's really dope. Let's add like a little drop shadow as well. Drop shadow preset. Fire. It looks really good. And then now let's go ahead and just have it. How do we want to do it? Do we want it to slide in from the left or the top? Let's actually do it from the bottom. I feel like that'd be kind of sick. Have it slide in from the bottom. So slide in up. And then let's have it go ahead and just like slide. Let's see it. So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with. Let's go ahead and just line this up. During my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan. Okay, so I'll go ahead and like maybe like slide it out. And together. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just like slide this out really quick. So the way to like adjust the speed of the transitions is you cut it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just do slide down out. So that way it kind of speeds up the slide down. Named Bryan Delamata, and together we had a character named Bryan Delamata, and together we. So you can see it kind of like is lagging a little bit because of the keeper plugin, but Delamata. So you can kind of see what's going on. So there we go. So that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and just nest this for now. Let's go ahead and add a shake as well, just like kind of liven it up, make it look like it's actually sort of like floating. A little shake medium. On my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan Delamata, and together we had a content strategy. So sick. Strategy session. So how do you make a content strategy? Dope. Now let's go ahead and just add like some cool scales. So like scales of like making my face like, or like zooming in a little bit. Let's just go ahead and do that. That looks good. Actually, let's go a little bit bigger. Let's put me on top. There we go, top third, pretty much like that. I'm gonna copy this position so I could just have it on my clipboard. So how do you make a content strategy? Well, we started with our content goals, which for me included building a brand authority, nurturing my audience into paying customers, and connecting with my audience. So for each piece of content that I create, audience into paying customers, and connecting with my audience. So for each piece of content that I create, it has to resonate with one of those goals. And then once you define those goals, you go ahead and move to your content pillars. And your content pillars are the types of content that you like to post. For me, it's before and afters, talking head you like to post. For me, it's before and afters, talking heads just like this one, talking heads with my iPhone, and then ManyChat B-roll posts. And then that's it for Instagram. Now, posts. And then that's it for Instagram. Now, last step is just building your content schedule. Monday through Friday, try to think of the days and how your audience behaves on those days. Figure out what types of content you want to post. And this is genuinely like all relative to you and your audience. But for me, in the beginning of the week, people just really want quick wins, they want some value. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most prone to buy my product. So that's why I create salesy content at the end of the week. And that's all you need to do to build a content strategy. Keep it very simple. Just build a content strategy. Keep it very simple. Just execute it. So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan Delamata, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make a content strategy? So sick. All right, cool. That's a dope little like little pass. We started with our. I'm actually just gonna leave it like that. And then let's go ahead and just add some subtitles and maybe just call it a wrap. So let's go ahead and right click on this track because we're gonna need a track later on for our text. Right click right here, add track, right below the overlays, as you can see, and then just add like a text track. So let's go ahead and do that. And the way you do that is you go over here, you go to like this little menu, or it should just be right there, hit text. If you don't see it, I believe it's in window, and then you just type text. We're gonna go ahead and transcript. 3 dots to generate static transcript. It's my way of doing it. You can honestly do it like the other way. Personally, I just don't like to, so I don't. Dope. Let's go ahead and just like fix these quick corrections. So that's definitely not how you say his name. And then together, okay. All right, that looks good. So let's go through, check it out, make sure it's okay. You go to captioning.
And then I like to turn this down to like 9 to 10. I like to keep it very short. And then gap, 0 gap. And then lines, single. Killer. Now is like kind of the fun part with text. You select it all, so that way you can actually like make the changes to all of the text at one time. And then you go ahead and change to like your specific font. For me, it's Akira. For you, it can be whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go to zone. I'm gonna maybe actually just throw it down to like 266. It's like a decent spot about like right here. That looks cool. Let's go ahead, make it italicized, a little bit more bold, and then let's go ahead, just kind of feather out the shadow a bit more. I think that looks great. And yeah, that's actually pretty killer. So let's go ahead and hit play. Make sure we like it.
During my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make a content strategy? But we started with our content goals, which for me...
Okay, fire. Like, I actually really like that. Let's go ahead, select it, and now upgrade caption to the graphic. And then that'll actually throw it above all of your layers, which is fine, but we just want it to be under the overlays, so that way it just looks more clean and more put together. Then here's where we go through and like make sure our text is lining up with cuts. So right here, this one is not lined up. There's a cut right here. This obviously is not lined up. Go ahead, fix that. Cut again, fix that. Cut again. And honestly, when you do have the overlay transitions, you can kind of get away without syncing it, but like it's kind of just like smart to do so. So just keep doing that throughout the entire video. It's very tedious and very annoying. Or you could honestly just play through the video and see if there's any spots that stand out and then just fix those.
So for each piece of content that I create, it has to resonate with one of those goals. And then once you define those goals, you go ahead and move to your content pillars. And your content pillars are the types of content that you like to post. For me, it's before and afters, talking heads just like this one, talking heads with my iPhone, and then ManyChat B-roll posts. And then that's it for Instagram. Now, last step is just building your content schedule. Monday through Friday, try to think of the days and how your audience behaves on those days to figure out what types of content you want to post. And this is generally like all relative. And this is generally like all relative to you and your audience. But for me, in the beginning of the week, people just really want quick wins, they want some value. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most. And then at the end of the week is when they're typically most prone to buy my product. So if I create salesy content with my week. And then that's all you need to do to build a content strategy. Keep it very simple and just execute. So during my trip,
let's go ahead and make sure that this out point is lined up, that's lined up. And now is the final step. You can go ahead and add your sound effects for your overlays. Personally, I just haven't been doing it because I don't know, personal preference. So you can go ahead and just add sound effects to each one of your overlays. But for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and add some background music. So you can find background music honestly anywhere, but if you guys wanna use what I use majority of the time, it's YouTube, like popular Instagram, like background music, or you go on Epidemic Sound and you check those guys out. And I do have a code down below. So if you wanna go ahead and support me, that's a great way of doing it. Anyways, let's go ahead and find some background music. Now, once that is done downloading, go ahead to Premiere Pro, Control I, import, go to your downloads right here, easy money, drag and drop it. Where there's no audio, G, I like to do -30, -25.
So during my trip to Chicago, I met up with a creator named Bryan, and together we had a content strategy session. So how do you make a content
fire? And that's really sick to me. Now last step, you guys can go ahead and add like a filter to the background music if you want, or you guys can just leave it as is. I'm gonna go ahead and just add like a low pass filter, just like give it like that deep bassy sound.
Strategy. But we started with our content goals. How do you make a content
or like muffled sound, I guess.
Strategy. But we started with our content goals.
Sick. So that is pretty much everything that you guys need to know for editing short form content. And as you guys can see, like the short form content process is not a hard process at all. It can just sometimes be a little time consuming when you don't have the right tools in your arsenal. So if you guys have any questions about editing short form content, being a creator, please let me know down in the description below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, take action, take over. Peace.